Hey, welcome back to Project Mockingbird, 1969 Firebird restoration. Doing a TransAm clone, the best we can do here to make it the real thing without spending the $1 million. Now, last go around, as you can tell, rocker panel is MIA and gone. I have a toe board patch panel and a torque box, whatever you want to call it, the frame mount that hooks to the firewall. I got a process here actually going on in my head. Yes, I got to replace the rocker panel. That's kind of like step one for me. Good, solid rocker panels. Then you build the rest of your car from there. So that's where we're going to go. So there is an order of operation to this. So I guess you want a quick synopsis or the quick recap. Rocker panel, we're going to fix the toe board firewall, put the main floor pan in, put the convertible bracing under the floor pan in it, then work our way back. We're going to do the trunk floor and rear frame rails, which requires cutting up part of the tail panel. So there is kind of an order to the madness, you could say, but nonetheless, what we need to get into here right now is patching up our toe board and our torque box. Let's get started. This is our toe board patch panel. Look at these contours and lines. This thing is super clean and actually really nice quality piece. Not too bad, but you're also going to notice that almost every panel is manufactured by this company, and then everybody puts their own sticker over top of it or replaces it, because even my torque box, which this came from Classic, that came from Summit, which I have no idea where it actually came from, but that was a whole different place, but as you can tell, same sticker on the actual component. But we need to work on getting this section in. We're not going to replace the whole thing because, well, my metal's not bad up above a certain point. This is just a repair panel anyway. It's not the entire firewall, but it's a really nice piece. Now, that is one complete 100%, one complete component there, but I have no intention on replacing because where that nut locates there, that's a very critical point of measurement. I know I could replace if I wanted to, but I don't like messing with it. One, because of possible alignment issues, and two, my jack stands on that right now, so I can't really remove it because I'm going to lose the support that I have from my car right now, because that's what's holding me up and keeping things in place. So how I'm going to get around that is we're only going to replace, I'm going to zip something kind of across, maybe blow the line there or something like that, and come on down and replace only part of that piece. But in order to find out how far we got to go, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line to figure out where I want to cut my toe board out at, then cut it out. And like I've said in the past, once you get that piece cut out, do not throw it away. It's going to be our rough template to transfer over onto this and see how we can get a nice patch panel really quick and easy. Now, I suppose the question comes, where do you cut this at? What makes the decision? Now, of course, the obvious parts, we want to get rid of the rusty metal, but we don't want to go clear up here where the metal's really nice, and it's actually a little hard to weld that far up off the floor. So I'm really kind of seeing it maybe this way. There's this nice line, maybe cutting it just about a quarter inch, eighth inch on the top part of that there, so something along those lines like this, and come straight across here and go just above the holes there for the dimmer switch. So that's where I'm going to do that one at. So just a nice straight line for easy use of the cutoff wheel, and I'll probably come straight across just the same, leave all the rust behind, then I'll probably come down through here like so and come straight back. Now this isn't surface rust, this is some kind of a glue or kind of gunk, but I wanted to get rid of all the rot and all the bad stuff. So I think I'll go ahead and cut it here and see what this looks like. And mine, there's actually a couple spot welds normally that tie the floor pan, or the, I guess, firewall to the torque box, but I don't know how much is actually left of that, but that should give us enough room that we can look in behind and see how bad this piece is here. We'll get you in and show I did out. And you get in that tight corner over here, one of these little aerosols is actually one of your best friends. It works pretty good. I wouldn't cut a whole car apart with this, but small areas like that, you get this in really tight and cut right all the way up to the side of the panel without damaging the next side over. But let's pull this out of the way. And there's a surprise. Look, more rust. Yay. Now we can really see what we got to work with. This is definitely not in that great a shape. Don't throw this away. Remember, this is our template. Put that someplace safe. This is what this should look like. Have all this piece right here, all these little notches. Yeah, it should come over to here. It's missing. This is what we need to replace. Now, again, with this out of the way, I can kind of see, I think we got good solid metal up to here. Now, this is obviously has a rust hole there, but I'm going to cut it. Maybe just below where I cut that other one out and see what it looks like. And as long as I got good, clean looking metal, then I'll probably be okay. If I want to come up this way at an angle, I'd like to salvage and go ahead and install this in there too. So I'll probably come across this somewhere and then tie across here like this, and I'll weld that piece in. But I'll start cutting this out and see what it looks like. Make sure there's good metal to tie to. Well, heck, one more important step that I almost forgot. You need to drop the tape measure to the floor and get a measurement of where that's at. So 13.5 inches, 13.5 inches. So when I weld the new panel in, I get my height adjusted right. I almost forgot that. So I'm gonna write down 13.5 up here as my little notepad. And then we'll go ahead and start cutting that out. All right, got that cut out of the way, looking pretty good. Now, inspecting the edge here, it got a nice, even sheet metal thickness here. I don't have any like severe thinness areas where rust has actually gotten carried away. So I think we got the worst part of the rust out. I know it looks bad, but this is the worst part of it. That actually looks pretty good. Now we'll clean this up, get all the loose out of there. We'll go ahead and probably paint that with, actually I'll go ahead and weld it first. I think we're gonna weld it and then we'll paint it once we're done. But I need to clean that edge back about at least a 1/4 inch when I go to weld. I don't contaminate my weld. Now, the other thing I've done, I'm all out of my silver permanent markers, so this is for visibility for you and a little bit of me. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take the piece I just cut out, lay it on top, and then I'm gonna draw a line where to cut it at, and that should get us super close to fitting up in there really, really nice. So, again, I'm gonna trace this out here, make the same cut again, basically, and then we're gonna discard that top part and only use the bottom piece here. All right, I have cleaned back the edge here. You can see nice shiny metal now where that torque box should mount up. This here actually works out pretty nice. Got about a 1/16 of an inch gap in some spots, but just as fine. It's pretty heavy gauge metal. Like my buddy used to say, give some place for that wire to go. We just got to adjust the height to 13.5 inches and burn that thing in, and we should be in pretty good sort. So I'm going to go ahead and get this tack welded into place and get it put in. This is supposed to be 13.5. We're 13.25. Just a little tweak. Got it all welded in. Today's one of those days I'm probably more of a grinder than a welder. Just can't get that to lay in like I wanted it to, but it's in there. It's all. It's not going to go anywhere. So that's all taken care of. I'm going to wire brush some of this out, put some of my rust converting primer on that, and go ahead and put a coat on this, peel the sticker off, and then we'll go to the other side there and buff the firewall. But that's all in there in pretty good shape. Well, definitely looking a lot more good. There's a little paint on that there. I wanted you to see this though here. You'll agree that we're at 13.5, 13.5, and so on. So our height is where we need it to be. Now this is why, this is the very important thing I said, do not throw these pieces away. Because remember, we cut this out from right here. That's what this thing looked like. So big improvement already, but we cut this piece out. This is not trash yet because we'll lay this right on top of our new panel. And that'll get us ultra close to matching up our patch panel. So what I'll do now is go ahead and trace this. I'll leave it just a little large. Like this piece is gonna be a little bit bigger than what I need. Then we'll kind of file fit it with like a 36 grit sandpaper. Just slowly get it fit into place really tight. Because sheet metal, try to get as close as you can or no gap. It seems to weld a little better for me here if we're doing some butt welding. So nonetheless, we'll get this traced out and cut out. Then we'll start working on getting it fitted into place. All right, I got the patch panel trimmed to that template of the old one. I'm gonna kind of test fit this thing into place. And so far it doesn't look too bad. That actually lines up real nice. Now here, my original firewall is laying over top of that piece. That's okay, because I got a little trick for that. I was talking about, we're just gonna get it close is all we're trying to do with this go around. And then we'll trim it or clean it up with the grinder. So, but this edge here actually lines up really nice. That's pretty cool. Clamp that into place. And what I'll do then, this black EDP primer, take my tech driver here, we'll just scribe a line in it. And what we can do then, once I get this pulled back off, I'll take my grinder and just basically 36 grit sandpaper there. It'll buzz that thing right off real quick. Yeah, that'll work. And then we got the little corner right here. I think that'll do it. A little bit right there too. All right, now what I'll do is I'll pull this out and I'll show you what we have here. Tight fit, but look at that line. See that scribe line right there? Now I just trim that back to that, and that should get me a nice section right up, butt welded really tight we'll be able to weld this thing right in pretty quick. Trim back to the scribe line. This actually works really nice. So I was talking about 36 grit and a flat. I put this on the end of the grinder, and I just keep buzzing that edge until I just touch that scribe line. So when you do it, if you do it right, then when you actually slide this pan right into place, it's a perfect little seam all the way across here. Really, really close. Actually, the word perfect doesn't exist, but you know what I'm talking about here. The seam is really close, like very, very tight panel fitment. So I can butt weld this thing right into place and do a little cleaning on it and almost be a seamless repair. So super happy with the fitment. We'll go ahead and put a clamp here and I'll start tack welding it, getting this all welded into place. Okay, now, get that where I want it. Let's put a couple little tacks in place. Let's see about getting this thing put in there. Yep. Now basically I got that stitched into place. Go through here and just keep filling all the way in until I get that thing welded in solid, but it's gonna work pretty good. I suppose maybe you want to see that up close, but this is what I'm talking about. A really tight gap between the panels. There's no height difference. So I'll come through and just keep stitch welding this all the way back in until I get it all welded in solid. Then I'll come back and dress the welds a little bit. And you got like 3 or 4 little spot welds you gotta do here. This ties that toe board to the torque box on the outside, and you got a couple go right here too, just the same. So work on getting this all welded in, and then we'll do this next. Now, ta-da, TV magic all done. Buffed the welds up here. Looked out pretty good, the butt welding. A little bit of a gap problem here, but that's okay. It's the floor pan. No one's really ever going to see it, except for I just showed that to you. But besides all that, if this is one of your first projects, so this is your very first time doing some welding, this is a great place to learn how to do some butt welding. If you make a mistake, it's not that big a deal. It's your floor pan. You're never really going to see this again for the most part. And the only part you'll see is here in the center of it. That's not too bad off, actually. Now, here's the thing we're going to do next year. Drop a couple screws in here, a couple in here, and we're going to call it good for today. Pulls that up really snug. So about 3 through here. Now what I'll do, take that one back out. And then we'll drill the hole a little bigger. About a 1/4 inch bit. Seems to work pretty good for me. We'll just taper this hole. Don't drill all the way through. We get to almost the back side of that other piece there. Now I'll go ahead and do that to all those screws. All right, now once you get those all welded in, you do it about right. You get really good at doing these plug welds. They're almost perfectly flat. There is no height to them, so no buffing required. Now, then what we'll do is clean up a little bit of wire brush because of the contamination from the welding. You want that to actually stick really good to the paint. So this is all done, squared away. I'm not going to attach these two yet because they will get spot welded together. But we're going to put the floor pan on it first, and there's the other part that goes in here. So I'll worry about doing that later, but it's lined up really nice, looking super good. And so there you have it. Torque box toe board all sectioned in, ready to install our rocker panel once that arrives. And then get this bad boy the heck out of my way, because I'll tell you what, I'm not quite the contortionist I used to be. Get in there and weld and hang around upside down. This thing kind of gets in the way. That's part of the reason why I don't like a whole lot of bracing, because I like to get in there. I like to weld things. So this is cumbersome enough. I couldn't imagine all kinds of X-bracing in here. But again, just my opinion how I like to do this. You do what you want. I share this information with you to maybe develop your own way. I'm not going to show you every last step of the project, but maybe the highlights, things I think you might need to know or you might want to see, and you can come to your own decision how you want to attack your project, or do it just like this. Seems to be working pretty good for me so far. But hopefully the next go around we'll work on getting things prepped to install this rocker panel on this side. Once the rocker panel's in, or I kind of discuss it, do the floorboard, and keep working my way towards the back of the car. So whatever it ends up being, I will definitely grab the camera, and I hope to continue to see you guys watching and supporting the channel here, having a whole lot of fun sharing these stories of the Mockingbird, the Great Pumpkin, my high school car, and I've got a couple more in the works. So kind of keep on plugging away and making these videos, sharing them with you. And of course, anything you'd like to see, let me know just the same. But nonetheless, I have earned an orange Mountain Dew and a little time off, and I'll grab the camera, and we'll see you guys next time.